Hey, what's up? Talking Mike here. Let's talk about Ultimate Wolverine issue number 4. Let's get into this. So we pick up after the events of issue 3, where Wolverine was basically kicked out of the back of a moving truck and had his mind basically tampered with, unlocking all of his possible new memories. We see this wounded wolf with like scratches across his face. Yes, I said wolf. And we see it walking through the woods, and we hear like these mentions of like, oh, what's he doing? Why is his brain activity going? What's happening with his claws? This and that, commenting about what exactly is going on to Wolverine. And we end up seeing this throughout most of the entire issue, especially when the wolf, which I'm guessing the wolf is supposed to represent Wolverine, is actually attacked by a bear. And we see all this happening. It's a pretty brutal, gnarly fight that we get. As this fight with the wolf and the bear is going on, we hear, oh my god, get the guards, get the guards. We gotta tell the Rasputins exactly what exactly is going on. And we hear the doctor chime in, and we hear like, fight, resist, hunter, Logan. And we get revealed that Wolverine is actually back in the research facility, surrounded by a bunch of dead bodies, a couple of guards, and the doctor. And we come to find out after the events of the previous issue that Wolverine's like mental blocks that have been in place, which we come to find out it's not just sedatives. It's like sedatives, like I think false memories and telepathy, stuff like that. So it's several things with, if something within his mind breaks, there's a dam there to basically stop it and keep him in control is what they're trying to do. So they basically get Wolverine like settled down and like restrained and stuff like that. And they're like, okay, we need to take you to her. She will fix you. And they get him and they take him to this place to where it's a very familiar dome-shaped place. And we get in there and they're like, the Phoenix will fix you. And we find out that they've been using Jean Grey, the Phoenix, to basically warp Logan's mind and like control his mind in a sense. To basically put everything back into place to where, and kind of sort of almost like factory reset it. All right, so let's take a look at the internal artwork. Here is your creative team right there. Gotta say, I have been loving these covers that have they've been doing for these. These covers have been amazing. But it's cool. We get like a bigger cover version of it right there. Got a little backstory right there, but this artwork it's really good. Like I really like the artist that is doing this series. This is where we get a lot of like the internal, I don't know if it's really internal or external monologue or responses to what Wolverine is actually doing in this. But it was slightly confusing to know who exactly was talking in this. You kind of have to like put two and two together. They don't necessarily really hold your hand in this, but we do get some pretty awesome fights with the wolf. I'm guessing that's Wolverine, and the bear. I'm not 100% sure exactly on that. But we get this fight, and this fight lasts for a lot of this issue. So I hope you like wolves and bears. But yeah, the artwork is really good. And we get into some more interesting stuff. Like we get like Wolverine eventually in this after the fight. Because this is mostly just a fight between wolf and bear. But we get this pretty awesome like splash page of like what has actually been happening while we've been reading like everything. Like Wolverine was just fighting a bunch of like guards, which was pretty crazy to see. And then, we get him. They finally do like sort of subdue him and like calm him down and stuff. And they take him to like a different part of the facility, and we get this very familiar like Cerebro-esque structure, and we get the reveal that the Phoenix, aka Jean Grey, is in here, which is a very crazy like thing to think about. Like they're using the Phoenix, or what they're calling the Phoenix, as a potential like test subject to like go after Wolverine, or not go after Wolverine, but like reprogram and control Wolverine. I just have to say, this story was really interesting. It's not necessarily what I expected. I get what the artist and the writer were going for, symbolism wise, with the wolf and the bear, and the wolf being Wolverine. It definitely took me out of it for the first part of this particular issue. I was like, what exactly is going on? I had to keep reading it and reading it. For a while, I thought maybe this was like a representation of Logan's mind, which maybe it might have been. I'm not 100% sure. Or that was actually Wolverine fighting the bear. I don't know. But it definitely took me a minute, because I thought that we were getting like glimpses of possibly the past, when they were talking about what exactly is going on while Wolverine was fighting the bear, or the wolf was fighting the bear. But then I put two and two together. I was like, oh no, this is like present day. Like they picked Logan up after the end of issue 3, and this has all been going on. Which kind of threw me for a loop, because I thought Wolverine was going to be like left to his own devices outside of like where we left off in issue 3. So that was really interesting to see, and how like they reacted to him. Like he freaking murders like everybody in this issue who tried to like restrain him and whatnot. I did find it interesting that they bring in Jean Grey, aka the Phoenix, because she ends up being another test subject for the erosion, or ROPA, whatever it's called, the government. And she is strung up in this Cerebro type thing. And they even reference towards the end of this in like the dossier that they have Magneto, as well as possibly Charles Xavier, as like test subjects as well. So that's really interesting going forward. Now, this issue didn't 100% hit with me, but I am looking forward to see where things are going forward. They are definitely setting the stage for some really, really interesting stuff when it comes to Wolverine. They pulled the rug out from under me, I feel like, in a sense. The first part of this definitely wasn't for me. I did think the action and fight scenes with the bear and the wolf were really well done. It's just not what I expected. But hey, I mean, you can't win them all. But I did enjoy, for the most part, this issue, and I want to continue to read more of this. But let me know your thoughts down below. I'm Otaku Mike. I'll catch you guys on the next video. I'd love to hear your thoughts.